Greetings to you and welcome to this episode of Grace Podcast. I'm Timothy Muse. I'll be your host as we spend this time together today. It's a joy to be with you. I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to thank you for making this podcast a part of your journey. And as always, I want to thank you for being on the journey. You're here, you're working, you're striving, and that is so awesome. I am so pleased to be here with you, to be part of this, to see you doing this. It's great. It's incredible to see you walking in this time and to be able to come alongside you. I want to thank you for that opportunity. It's a joy and a privilege and an honor for me to be able to do that. For me to be able to offer you something, a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of a nugget of encouragement, whatever it is I can bring, I'm honored to be able to do that. If this podcast is helpful, please share it out there. Put it out there on your social media feeds. I post on LinkedIn, X, Instagram, and Facebook. If you follow me or the life coaching on any one of those feeds, you're going to see these episodes. If you want to reach out, if you want to reach out to me directly, gracelifecoaching.com is the website. I would love to hear from you. And if you're on one of the listening platforms, I know I kind of swapped that around a little bit today. If you're on one of the listening platforms, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Amazon Music, then follow us. Give us a rating and review. Every positive rating and review tells the platform people are listening, and you get notifications when new episodes come out. So we started in on discipline, and I want to go deeper with that today. But before I do, I want to give a shout out to somebody. I don't do this very often, and maybe I should do it more. You know, there's a lot of people out there who are really trying to move the needle in this area, who are really trying to move the needle for people. And it's really hard to find them. It's really hard to build this. It takes consistency and investment. I had the opportunity the other day to spend time with a licensed therapist. We had a great conversation. It was an introductory conversation. Her name is Diana Dunn, and she has the Small Peace Studio. So she is a therapist, an art therapist. She teaches mindfulness and meditation, and it was really engaging. And I think that she has some really good things to offer. You know that I'm a big fan of talk therapy. You know that I'm a big fan of seeing a therapist. I'm not a therapist. I'm a coach. I don't walk down that road. But therapy is something that we can all really use and benefit from, even if it's just to spend a little time talking about who we are. So I would encourage you, if you get an opportunity, to look into her. The Small Peace Studio, that's the website, thesmallpeacestudio.com. I'll put the website in the show notes. She's also doing a 3-week mindfulness and meditation process starting the April 12th. It's 3 weeks, Sunday evening, and it's all virtual. So it's going to be online, so you don't have to travel. So anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world that you're listening, if this is something that you would be interested in, then I would encourage you to check it out. Go to thesmallpeacestudio.com and contact her and let her know that you heard from me and that you'd be interested in doing the mindfulness and meditation process. I'm really looking forward to it. I signed up for it, so I'm really looking forward to the opportunity of seeing what she has to offer and growing with people. You know, that's one of the joys of doing this, of being a creator and looking to move the needle in people's lives, is finding other people who are just as passionate. And I really believe that she is. So look into her, thesmallpeacestudio.com. I'll put it in the website. I'll put it in the show notes. Like I said, I don't do it very often. Maybe I should do it more. Maybe I should use this platform to help create other people's opportunities to go ahead and move the needle forward and make a difference in people's lives. So in our last episode, we defined discipline. We started this journey into discipline and the importance of discipline. And we talked about how discipline isn't punishment, it's alignment. It's self-respect in action. You know, when we think about discipline as punishment, then we fall short. But when we think about it as alignment, when we think about it as the process of building our daily lives, then we really start to see the self-respect in it. I want to go a little bit deeper. I want to take it a step further, because here's something that sounds almost backwards, but it's really, really important. Discipline creates freedom. I want to say that again. Discipline creates freedom. Now, at first, that sounds kind of odd, right? A little oxymoronic. That doesn't sound right. Discipline feels structured. It feels limiting. It feels like rules. And when we think about freedom, we think about open and flexible and unrestricted. So how can it be that discipline, something structured, can actually lead to freedom? And that's what I want to start to unpack today, because it's really, really an important thing. And first, let's start with the illusion of freedom. Here's a hard truth. Most people are chasing freedom, but living without discipline. And what they end up with is not freedom, it's chaos. They end up with chaos. Think about this. If you spend freely without discipline, you don't get financial freedom, you get debt. If you eat whatever you want, whenever you want, you don't get freedom. That may look like freedom, but it leads to poor health. If you use your time without structure, just do whatever you want to go, do whatever you want to do, go wherever you want to go, you don't get flexibility. You get stressed, overwhelmed, and unfinished tasks. Undisciplined living leads to limited freedom because eventually your lack of discipline creates consequences, and those consequences begin to control your life. See how that works? It's not that freedom controls your life, but the consequences of living that undisciplined life begins to control your life. It's the consequences. So what feels like freedom in the moment actually becomes restriction over time. What feels like living free in the moment long term becomes restriction. So what happens when you bring discipline into your life? You start creating options. You start to create margins. You start to create control. That's where freedom really begins to blossom. So let's talk about, let's break that down a little bit. Let's talk about a couple of places of freedom where discipline really has an impact. Let's talk about financial freedom. When you practice discipline with money, saving, budgeting, investing, you reduce stress, which we all want to do, right? We all want to reduce stress. You gain options and you stop living paycheck to paycheck. That, my friends, is freedom. Discipline today, freedom tomorrow. You know, my wife and I, we continue to pay into a retirement fund, and that's really discipline, and it's really kind of awful sometimes because that amount of money that goes into a retirement fund could really be used to pay down bills or go on a vacation or buy more expensive coffee or whatever. But the point of that discipline today is that when I stop making a full-time salary, which there's a point in my life where I want to do, then I will have the freedom to live. You see how that works? When you save and budget and invest, though it feels like discipline now and it feels difficult now, you're gaining options and opportunities. So financial freedom. You can spend whatever you want. You can max out your credit cards. You can spend paycheck to paycheck. And that looks like freedom, but it leads to debt. It leads to stress. Time freedom. When you're disciplined about your time, planning your day, prioritizing tasks, then you stop feeling rushed, you stop reacting to everything, and you create space for what matters. When you start being disciplined with your time, and remember I've said time is the only limited commodity we have. When we're disciplined with our time, that discipline creates margins. It creates opportunities. It creates places where we can go in different directions with our time. I've said before, you know, if you have 1 hour, an hour's worth of work and you give yourself 8 hours to do it, guess what's going to happen? It's going to take you 8 hours to get your work done. So be disciplined with your time. Create those plans, prioritize those tasks, and then you create more margins with extra time. And emotional freedom, that's the third piece I want to talk about. When you practice emotional discipline, pausing before reacting, choosing your response, you are no longer controlled by every feeling. You don't snap as easy, you don't carry unnecessary stress, you respond with intention. And that intention creates stability. And who doesn't want emotional stability in their life? Seriously. You know, I go out shopping and I see people who are really emotionally unstable. They just don't have that stability and balance. And one little thing happens and their emotional reaction is 10 times bigger than that event. That's because they're not disciplined with their emotions. That's because they're not disciplined with what they're thinking and feeling. Here's the truth. Discipline gives you control. Control creates freedom. That is the truth. Discipline gives you control, and control creates freedom. Because there's something very, very real in our lives, and something we don't necessarily talk about, maybe we don't even know about in our lives. Something called decision fatigue. Every day, we make thousands of decisions. We make up to 30,000 decisions a day. What to wear, what to eat, what to do first, what to respond to, all of those things. Everything outside of our automatic systems, our heartbeat, our renal system, our vascular system, all the things that happen automatically, everything we do is a decision. It's a decision built on another decision. Some say that we make almost 1,000 decisions a day on what we're going to eat alone, okay? So what we eat, what we wear, what we do first, what we respond to, and the more decisions we make, the more mentally draining it becomes. It really is true. When we have to make all of these decisions over and over and over, when we think about them, dwell on them, weigh the cost of them, they're draining. emotionally, mentally. It's called decision fatigue. Because the powerful thing about discipline to overcome that is discipline creates routines. Routines reduce decisions. See how that works? When we create discipline, the discipline creates routines, and those routines reduce decisions. What am I going to wear today? Well, you have a closet full of clothes. What am I going to wear today? Well, if you reduce the number of clothes in your closet, then you reduce the decision you have to make. I listen to a coach and work with a coach from time to time, and this coach said that they only shop at 2 stores because they have good clothes and the decisions are pretty easy. Their closet is pretty minimal. Now, their clothes are clean, of course. You know, they do laundry and they clean their clothes, but their decisions are minimal. The color schemes are minimal. The attire is minimal. It reduces decision fatigue. When we talk about habits, that's why habits are so important. That's why our brain creates habits, because habits are non-decision making things. I don't decide that I'm going to brush my teeth. I brush my teeth. I don't decide that I'm going to put on clean socks. I put on clean socks. That's a habit. And a habit reduces the decision that I have to make on a daily basis. So discipline reduces decision fatigue. All right. So when we create routines, routines are discipline. Routines reduce decisions. Think about highly effective people. They don't decide everything from scratch every day. They have routines. They have systems, morning routines that they do every day. I have a morning routine I do every day. It is pretty standard. Every day I do pretty much the same thing for the first hour to hour and 15 minutes of my day. Workout schedules. They set work times. They define priorities. These are all systems that are disciplined that reduce decision fatigue. So instead of asking, what should I do today? They already know. Discipline reduces chaos by creating clarity. Discipline reduces chaos by creating clarity. It creates clarity within the decision-making process. And in that is freedom. Clarity is freedom. If we want to really get into true freedom to live the best life possible, we create disciplines and routines that take away a lot of that unnecessary energy. So we create non-negotiables. That's one of the ways that highly effective and highly successful people, they have non-negotiables. So what is a non-negotiable? A non-negotiable is something that we're just going to do every day no matter what. Not because we feel like it, but because it's a part of who we are. It's a part of our daily process. These are ways to build discipline and experience freedom by creating non-negotiables. You move your body every day. That's a non-negotiable. You're a machine that was not intended to sit behind a desk 8, 10, 12 hours a day. You move your body every day. Does that mean you go to the gym every day? No. But you move your body every day. A few minutes of stretching, maybe walking around the office, maybe getting up in the morning and doing a little bit of yoga. Move your body every day. That's a non-negotiable, because if you don't move your body every day, your body's going to tell you, you will struggle. It's just part of the deal. Spend at least 10 minutes a day in reflection or prayer or meditation, something to empty out your emotional box, something to get things out of the way. You know, we can pack in so many things, but when we spend just a few minutes each day in meditation, or if you're a spiritualist, in prayer or in reflection, in quiet, away from all the distractions, we get clarity. We can remove all of those emotional things. Complete your top priority tasks first. That's so important. Highly effective people, they list out what's top priority. They get them done first when they have the most energy, the most drive, and the least distractions. Get them done, then the rest of the day can cruise. All right. You know, when I talk with people and they're like, yeah, I work 4 hours a day and I make, 6 figures, 7 figures. How do you do that? Because I prioritize. I get the top priority done first. What is most important in your life? What is most important in your work? What is most important in your day? Get that done first. These are not optional. That's why they're non-negotiables. They're not optional. They're anchors. They're anchors in life. This is what I do every day, whether I feel like it or not, whether I want to do it or not. And here's what happens. The more you commit to non-negotiables, the less you negotiate with yourself. And the less you negotiate with yourself, the stronger your discipline becomes. Freedom grows where consistency lives. That's freedom. So I don't negotiate with myself. I move my body every day. Do I get to the gym as much as I'd like? No, but I move my body every day. I work in a building that's big. I walk around this building a lot every day. I get my steps in. I get up. I stretch. I don't sit all the time. That's a non-negotiable. My bedtime is consistent. I go to bed the same general time every night because I get up the same time every morning. That is a non-negotiable. Whether I have to or not, I'm out of bed the same time every morning. And that's freedom. That is the freedom to choose, and that grows that consistency in life. So here's what I'd like you to do. Identify 3 daily non-negotiables. Keep them simple. Keep them realistic. Ask yourself, what are 3 things if I did them every day would improve my life? What are 3 things if I did them every day would improve my life? Drink more water. That's an easy thing to do. It really, truly is. There's so many bottle filling stations. There's so many different, vessels out there for bottles, whatever. Commit to them. Maybe it's drinking water every day. Maybe it's stopping for 5 minutes to breathe and close my eyes. Maybe it's get up and walk around the office every day. Think of 3 things, 3 daily non-negotiables that will make your day better, that will improve your life. What are they? They don't have to be perfect, but consistent. We're not looking for perfection. We're looking for consistency. Commit to them every day because consistency builds discipline and discipline builds freedom. And that's what we're looking for, right? We're looking to be free. We're looking to live the best life, not to be confined by the rules and the oppressions and the structures of others. We want that freedom, and that freedom comes when we start building discipline. So what are your 3 non-negotiables? Write them down. Maybe they're going to change. Maybe you start out thinking, I'm going to drink more water, and you drink more water, and you find yourself up more at night using the restroom. Okay, that's not really working out because it's interrupting my sleep pattern. All right, what else? Maybe I need to move more. Well, it's really kind of hard to move at work. How can I do this? They can flux, but create 3 non-negotiables. Where in my life are 3 things that if I did them every day, I would improve? What are they? Write them down and begin to work with them. So I'd like you to take a moment to reflect. Take a moment to reflect. Where in my life am I seeking freedom but avoiding discipline? What would change if I became consistent in one area? What would change if I did these 3 daily non-negotiables? The freedom you want is hidden in the discipline you're avoiding. I know that's harsh truth, but I'm going to say it. The freedom you want, the freedom you're longing for, is hidden in the discipline you avoid. So live into that discipline. Find those 3 non-negotiables. Begin there. Start there. Start to live a disciplined life. Maybe you're living in decision fatigue. Maybe you have so many things in front of you that it's so hard to do. You know what? Then learn to it. One of the things that in my family, eating is a big thing. We love to eat, and we eat well. And one of the struggles is, what are we going to eat today? What are we going to eat today? So I strive. I don't always get it right, but I strive to do a weekly menu. So I'll sit down one day a week. Usually it's Sunday morning, maybe it's Monday morning, and I'll write out a menu for the week. This is what we're going to eat for the week. This is going to be home. This isn't going to be home. This is what we're going to eat for the week. So the decision is out there. Now, is it negotiable? Of course. Hey, we want to do pizza instead of chicken. Okay, fine. But at least we have a plan. The decision doesn't have to be made every morning. It's like, oh, what are we going to eat today? What do we have? What do we need to go? No, the decision is there. Non-negotiables. When we create structures that decrease the decision-making process, then we find ourselves having more freedom to put energy into other things. I don't want to spend time every day thinking about what I want to eat for dinner. I plan it out. I look at it. These are the things we like. These are the things we have. These are the things we have access to. Plan it out. Make it happen. And then we don't have to think about it. We'll look at the menu. What's up for dinner tonight? What's it say on the menu? Oh, yeah, that's fine. Okay. We have the stuff. We'll take care of it. Decision fatigue is a huge thing. Discipline helps us overcome decision fatigue. Decision fatigue is what drains our freedom. When we create discipline, then we start to create that freedom because we don't have the fatigue. We make the decisions, and we're able to spend more time doing the things that we want to do. That's what I got for you for today, my friends. I hope it's helpful. If it is, please share it out there. Put it out there on your social media feeds. Put it out there on the listening platforms. Follow us. And if you want to reach out to me directly, GraceLifeCoaching.com is the website. That's where you can get a hold of me. I truly would love to hear from you. GraceLifeCoaching.com. Reach out to me if I can help coaching or if there's something that I offer that you'd like to tap into. I would love to walk beside you. At Grace Life Coaching, we want you to be the best you.